Did you know that roughly 70% of all college students play video games? But just how many of those students take it to the next step and play games professionally? Hello, everyone. My name is Natalie Hinton, and I'm your host for Education Chat, a podcast by students for students in the Inland Empire. A lot of us have played video games at one point or another. Whether it's a mobile game on your phone or an MMORPG, video games are a common pastime for many college students. I myself have been playing video games since I was a child. I started by playing Club Penguin when I was little on my family computer, and it has slowly evolved into me finding more games that suit my style, and it is now definitely my number one hobby. You might have heard people around you saying that video games turn your brain into mush or make you violent, but video games might actually improve your learning. Let's chat about it on site at a local arcade.
I'm here tonight at Retrovolt Arcade in Calimesa, California.
Open for almost 8 years now, Retrovolt has been home to many retro and modern arcade games that have the chance to not only reduce your stress, but positively impact your cognitive and motor skills. For example, Tetris is one of the most popular arcade games in the world, with over 520 million copies sold. Studies show that continuous playing of Tetris can enhance a person's mental capacity and improve their motor and cognitive development. So, taking a quick break from studying to play a game of Tetris can actually benefit you. Playing a game that requires the use of your whole body, like a car racing game, can train attention control skills in older adults, which is great for those long lectures. Even first-person shooter games improve your visual attention and hand-eye coordination, which is vital for quickly reading and taking notes. Additionally, being able to consistently practice allows you to see your progress, which is a big boost to your confidence.
And don't forget about multiplayer games.
As touched on in our previous episode about mental health awareness, many students feel a sense of loneliness. A majority of modern games allow you to play online or with friends to make a community of your own.
Being social is important for everybody to thrive.
The most important factor, though, is to find a game that you enjoy in order to reap the benefits.
And what better place to start than an arcade? I met with Cesselie, an employee at Retrovolt Arcade and a recent CSUSB graduate, to ask her, why do you think people love video games so much?
I think people play video games for many reasons. The main reason is detaching from reality. They get to forget about the real life stress that is plaguing them every single day. You know, you play a video game and you forget about the stress, and then it feels so satisfying to complete tasks online. And that way you feel way more satisfied and happy with your life because you are doing this video game that's so much more simple than doing your taxes or getting your degree or doing your job. And then another great point is friendship. A lot of people cannot leave their home, or they cannot afford to go out and leave their home, especially during this almost recession era that we're entering. So video games is a cheap way to talk to your friends and get to know people and feel like you are exploring the world, especially through open online world games like World of Warcraft. So I think these are the main points that I can think of.
A lot of people play games casually, but some people take it to the next level and turn their favorite game into a form of competition. This is commonly known as esports. Many popular multiplayer games, such as League of Legends and Rocket League, have their own competitive scenes where players go head-to-head in matches to try and win first place. Regardless of someone's skill in gaming, esports players gain both the benefits of playing video games and being a part of a team sport. And to better understand what exactly competitive gaming looks like, I had the opportunity to speak with two members of the Highlander Gaming Club at UC Riverside. First, I chatted with Yufeng Chan, a Valorant player at Highlander Gaming. I wanted to learn more about what these competitions look like and what it takes to prepare for them. Thank you so much for joining me today, Yufeng.
Thank you for having me, Miss Hinton.
So I would love for you to introduce yourself. Tell us your name, your major, and your role in Highlander Gaming.
So my name's Yufeng. A lot of people just call me Spider because that's my in-game name and it's just easier. But yeah, I'm currently majoring in political science here at UCR. I also play for the Valorant team here.
Awesome. So I want to know, how did you first get into gaming?
I had a bunch of old consoles as a kid, and then eventually my mom bought me a PC. So then I started gaming on a computer ever since then.
Okay, so you grew up like the older consoles, but then a computer, and now you compete professionally in Valorant. Can I know why you chose specifically Valorant?
I feel like a lot of people say this, but I really did fall in love with the game because I started playing with a bunch of my friends in the beta when they first pre-released it, and it was a bunch of fun. And I just really wanted to get better. And all of my friends stopped playing, like so. It's just me. But I made a bunch of like new friends here, so that's cool. So I just really fell in love with the game. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not too familiar with the whole competitive scene. Obviously, I see people play games like Valorant and Overwatch, but I want to know, what do you do to prepare for matches? Is there anything specific you do beforehand, or does it kind of depend on what kind of tournament style you're playing?
I would say the tournament style doesn't matter too much, but some general things I try to do is I try to get a lot of sleep because sleep is really important, and I more importantly I try not to overthink because if you overthink it then it gets bad. So I would say just go for it.
And I previously did an episode about student athletes. So it was people who did track, they did baseball, they did basketball. And, they talked a little bit about how they liked being a part of a team and being able to grow with them. So I want to ask, do you enjoy being a part of a team? And does it feel any different than any like traditional team environments, maybe at school or work?
Funnily enough, I haven't really experienced any team environments prior to this team, but I can say probably one of the best parts about this club is enjoying like this fellowship and companionship of being in a team because I feel like everyone says this, but I truly do think I have some of the funniest and best teammates just ever. So uh I mean yeah, I love being on a team. I don't know if you've experienced like this team stuff because like I said for me it's new, but maybe you can like you can see where I'm coming from, I guess. Yeah, you know.
Nice, you've been playing competitively for a year. Have you won any matches?
Um Nothing big, but we've won here and there, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have
Mhm.
experience under your belt, and I'd love for you to share. Do you have advice for someone that's trying to break into competitive gaming, or maybe they just want to join a club that has people with similar interests as them?
I would say for anyone aspiring to compete competitively or just to join a club, I would say just go for it because for me, and I'm sure for a lot of other people, they're like really nervous because it's a new experience and you're putting yourself out there. So I would say just two things, just go for it and just believe in yourself, you know?
What other games, professional gaming things can you do in Highlander gaming? I know Valorant's one.
Over here at Highlander Gaming, there's Overwatch. I think there's a little bit of Counter-Strike too. There's Splatoon. If you enjoy fighting games, we have a Super Smash Brothers team, stuff like that. So yeah.
Hey, and just to close this out and get to know you a little bit more, I want to ask, what is your favorite game of all time?
Um, I'm really big into Greek mythology and stuff. So there's this game out there. It's called Hades. And I really like that game. It's a nice change of pace as well because it's like a single player like story game. So when I get burnt out from competing, I like to just log off and play that offline game.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Yufeng.
Thank you for having me, Miss Hinton.
Much like a traditional sport, you have your players, but you also have the people behind the scenes setting up the competitions and events. That is where Cadell Washington comes into play. As the events officer for Highlander Gaming, he gave us an insight on just how much work goes into planning events for both the players and the general student body at UC Riverside. Thank you so much for joining me today, Cadell.
No, thank you for having me, Natalie. Thank you.
So I would love for you to introduce yourself. Can you tell us your name, your major, and your role in Highlander Gaming?
So I'm Cadell Washington. Most know me by KD. I am currently a second year. I'm studying political science with a focus on law and society, so it's pre-law. And my role in HOG is I'm an events officer currently.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you do as an event officer and also how you came to join the club?
Yeah, so the things that I do as an event officer is pretty much just manage events. It ranges typically because as an officer, I have that freedom of being able to be where I need to be. So whether I need to be in media and help out there, or whether I need to be somewhere in like let's say esports or something like that, and they need casters, I could help out in that department. Events is just pretty much think of logistics. So I'm handling how we get like our tournaments set up, where do we get our sponsors and stuff, all that kind of nice stuff. I would say that events, it ranges differently from person to person. There's some people who are like locked into one specific side of events, like we have members that are focused on OSU, Valorant. members that are primarily focused on just being team captains for other teams. Whereas me, I'm more like a wild card. I kind of go everywhere, and that's primarily because I'm currently in the election for presidency for HOG.
When you started joining Highlander Gaming, did you start as just a random recruit and then moved your way on up?
Um, Yeah, I did start as a random recruit, but joining HOG was more of a vendetta for me. Last year, my first year here, we used to have a thing called UCR Rumble, just pretty much just tournaments among students and stuff, and it was pretty big. There was one instance where it was held by an HOG events officer last year. Horrible, horrible brackets, horrible everything. The event was led so horribly. Like my team started in the losers bracket. The fresh start. Why are we starting in the losers bracket? And the reasoning was that the other teams were just that good. I'm like, what? Why even have the tournament to begin with? So I said I was gonna come up in here and I was gonna change things because I didn't like that. I thought that was very not a way things should be handled. Luckily that's not something I've encountered since being here. But yeah.
Yeah, it's cool to see you go into that role just kind of out of spite and then being able to like build it up and host so many cool events. So I'm sure you've been able to plan a couple by now. I really want to know what the behind the scenes of planning an event looks like. I know you mentioned like getting sponsors and seeing who needs to be there, those kind of things.
Wow, the setup is, I will say it ranges from event to event, but it's tough nonetheless. It's very tough. I would say our biggest event and that what we're most known for is our HLC. That's our Highlander Con event. It's our biggest event of the year. We typically hold it in fall, but this year we held it in spring due to some issues internally. But man, we have alumni that are Razer employees that had to come out. We have to speak, and we need to have someone who drives out to either Santa Monica, Torrance, all these different cities to pick up the PCs so that other people can use them. Also need to pick up the giveaway items, and that's not even accounting for the amount of time it takes to set up the rooms and stuff, because we have to reserve these rooms either weeks up to months in advance. On top of reserving them, we have to stay in theme. We want to stay in theme. We don't want it to just be bland. So we have to set up the decorations, set up the proper setup, and then as soon as we're done, everything has to be returned the exact way it was to begin with. So no modifications. There have been times in the past where we got in trouble because a table wasn't in the right spot. So it can be tough at times, but it's definitely really fun to see the amount of joy it brings people, though. As for smaller events, more so that people that are like events, junior staff or something like that will be holding would be like Jeopardy night or something like that, trivia, anything some similar. It's as simple as just we reserve the room. All you have to do is show up there early, connect your HDMI, and present to the crowd. But I will say that that could be tough. It was tough starting out. I will say that crowd of people and I have to present a trivia. That was pretty tough. I'll definitely say it was harder than setting up HLC. HLC is more so if you've set up like concerts or anything before. I would say it's similar to that. Not to say it's like that same difficulty, but there's just a lot of like busy bees going around during HLC.
Yeah, and you put so much into it, and I'm sure like you have to do a lot of things yourself, but you also have people on your team that are able to help you out with things. So I want to know, do you think that joining an organization like Highlander Gaming is a good way to make friends or form a community?
Oh, absolutely. I think it is clubs in general are one of the best ways to make friends. Starting out, if I could be extremely candid, I didn't like not a single person. That's just typically how I really roll. I'm more lone wolf. I like to keep to myself. I didn't really want to join because I wanted to meet new people. I just wanted to join out of spite. And being in HOG has like really opened my eyes and broadened my horizons to like seeing just these different kinds of people that are coming together for like a singular goal. We do have staff socials, and it's pretty much just a get together for the staff and stuff. We mingle with each other, and seeing how much like previous members of the past from HOG that still show up to these things and speak, and I see networking. I see people asking for jobs there. I see people, lending a hand or like, oh, you need a ride, I got you. It's like very nice to see that like these are not just friends. This is a community and a network of people that if you put enough effort and you put yourself out there, you could have very well have these people lifelong.
That's incredible. And Katie, to close out this interview, I want to get to know you a little bit more.
Of
What
course.
is your favorite video game of all time?
Of all time, that's a really hard one. I have a lot of picks, but if I had to say anything, I would definitely say Project Zomboid. Project Zomboid is an isometric zombie survival craft. I've geeked out about this game so many times over the course of the past year. I actually held it in my own event, and I went out of budget primarily because I wanted more people to play this game. It was like a Squid Game event. It was when Squid Game was popping. I could talk all day about this game. This game is one of the best games ever made. It's been in development since like 2012. It's a small team of developers working on it, and it's just you're in Kentucky, Louisville, surviving the apocalypse.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today,
Course,
Katie.
of course. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Yufeng and Cadell, for taking the time to chat with me. Playing video games is becoming a more popular hobby as technology improves and new games are released, and for a good reason, too. Besides the psychological benefits, it is a great way to remain social as a college student. After watching this episode, I urge you to take the time to play a little bit of your favorite video game. And if you don't have one, take the time to talk to the people around you and see if they have any recommendations. Or you could try out Project Zomboid and Hades. There's truly a game out there for everyone, and who knows, you might become the next professional gamer. Thank you for playing this episode. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll chat with you again soon.